one is going to make an evolutionary argument for what a natural vitamin D level might be. Why don't we get our vitamin D in the way nature intended? Sun instead of supplements. Let's run through the pros and cons. First of all, supplements may only cost about $10 a year, and sunlight is free. You'll never have to worry about getting too much from sunlight, since your body has a way to regulate production in the skin. So we don't have to put our trust in poorly regulated supplement companies that might mislabel their products. In fact, there have been vitamin D supplements that have caused toxicity, particularly in children who are more vulnerable at higher dosages. And these were all due to mislabeling. In fact, only about half the brands carry 10% of their labeled amount. And sunlight may have benefits beyond vitamin D, like the amazing story of how your body may use the sun's near-infrared rays that penetrate your skin to activate chlorophyll byproducts in your bloodstream to make a nutrient called coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 is a necessary nutrient for heart health in particular and a very good antioxidant. There's another way your body appears to use the sun's rays to maximize the effects of the greens we eat. Within 30 minutes of exposure to ultraviolet rays and sunlight, you can get a significant drop in blood pressure and improvement in arterial function due to a burst of nitric oxide releasing compounds flow into your bloodstream. Amazingly, we can even measure the amount of off-gassing of nitric oxide directly from our skin. And don't confuse this with nitrous oxide, the gas that you get for dental anesthesia. That's a totally different compound. This is nitric oxide, and it's a good for blood pressure. Of course, you actually have to eat your greens or beets in the first place for this to happen. But that combo of greens and sunlight may explain the protection that plant-based eaters experience. Morning sunlight may help those with seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression, as well as improving the mood of wheelchair-bound nursing home residents. I've talked about the benefits of avoiding light at night, but underexposure to daytime sunlight may also affect our melatonin levels, which doesn't just regulate our circadian rhythms, but may also be helpful in the prevention of cancer and other diseases. Older men and women getting 2 hours of outside light during the day appear to secrete 15% more melatonin at night, although we're not sure what, if any, clinical significance this has. The downsides of sun exposure include increased risk of cataracts, a leading cause of vision loss, though this risk can be minimized by wearing a brimmed hat, are profound, accounting for up to 90% of visible skin aging, wrinkles, thickening, and loss of skin elasticity. Things like sun exposure and smoking, in other words, lifestyle issues, can make you look 11 years older. Cosmetic surgery can only make you look 8 years younger, but a healthy lifestyle may work even better. Hi, this is Carrie from Easy Immune Health, and today we're going to be talking about whether we should get our vitamin D from tanning beds or not. We all know that sunlight feels good and that we get vitamin D from sunlight, but is this really the best way to get our vitamin D? And even if it were, most of us don't get enough sun to make it matter, so our tanning bed's a good alternative to getting our vitamin D from sunlight. We all know that sunlight, including tanning beds, can make our skin look aged, and nobody wants it. And of course, the main problem with sunlight is that it causes skin cancer. The World Health Organization has recommended that we avoid too much sun due to the 3.5 million new cases and deaths from non-melanoma skin cancer in the United States each year. But malignant melanoma is the scariest. Sunlight can directly damage our DNA and cause malignant melanoma, which is the deadly form of skin cancer. Interestingly, melanoma of the skin is one of the most aggressive cancers, and it's getting a high rate in young women particularly. What a strange thing. Why young women? Well, tanning bed usage has been implicated in this. UV rays in sunlight are considered a complete carcinogen. And this means that not only does it promote skin cancers, but it promotes the spread of skin cancer. This makes the rising incidence of malignant melanoma among young women particularly alarming. This increase has been blamed on the increased usage of tanning beds. Tanning beds and UV rays in general are considered class 1 carcinogens like processed meat, accounting for as many as 3/4 of all melanomas among young women. This is 6 times the risk of melanoma for those who visited tanning salons 10 or more times before 30. The tanning industry is big business, bringing billions of dollars every year. There may be more tanning beds than there are Starbucks or McDonald's. That is extremely impressive amount. And the companies use those dollars, like the tobacco industry, to downplay the risks of their products. New laws are being passed to regulate tanning salons, including complete prohibitions like in the country of Brazil, to age restrictions for minors. But unlike tobacco, tanning isn't addictive, or is it? There are people who tan compulsively and report a so-called tanner's high. Describing tanning behavior like a substance abuse disorder seems on its face a little silly until you stick people in a brain scanner and can show the same amount of reward pathways light up in the brain, thanks to endorphins released by their skin when they're exposed to UV rays, such that you can even induce withdrawal-like symptoms giving tanners opiate-blocking drugs. Current studies suggest that UV exposure is biologically addictive and dangerous due to UV's mutagenic activities towards formation of all common forms of skin cancer. Harvard researchers suggest we should view recreational tanning and heroin abuse as engaging in the same biological pathways. It may be necessary, therefore, to more proactively protect individuals, including teens, from the risks of an avoidable, potentially life-threatening exposure and to view recreational tanning and opioid drug abuse as engaging in the same biological pathways. There's a reason sun exposure feels good, and that's a good thing evolutionarily, because sunlight is the primary natural source of vitamin D. Throughout evolution, it's more important in terms of passing along your genes to not die of rickets in childhood and forget skin cancer in your old age. That just simply was never an evolutionary issue. Unlike natural sunlight, tanning bed lights emit mostly UVA, which is the worst of both worlds, cancer risk with little or no vitamin D production. But the small amount of UVB rays that many do emit may be enough to raise vitamin D levels. However, this is a risky way to get your vitamin D, and we don't recommend sunbeds to be used as a source of vitamin D to the general population, as they've clearly been shown to be carcinogenic. If only there were a way to raise our vitamin D levels without risking cancer. Well, there is. Vitamin D supplements. Here at Easy Immune Health, we recommend getting a vitamin D test and testing your levels to make sure that they stay within the optimal range of 40 to 60 nanograms per mole, nanograms per milliliter, ng over ml. And if you can't achieve that with small amounts of sunlight between 15 to 30 minutes a day without burning and with covering your eyes and face to prevent cataracts and skin aging, then go ahead and start taking some supplements, particularly in the winter, to keep those vitamin D levels up. We recommend biotech supplements as they are stringently tested and we can assure that they do contain the amount they do say in there, and they're safe. Carrie from Easy Immune Health. Thanks for listening. We hope